Happy Thursday, and if it's not Thursday for you, try to have a happy Thursday anyways. So I'm going to talk about why American Werewolf in London was the first to do many things. And please let me know if it wasn't the first to do these things. The point is to educate the youngsters of today, because when they see a movie and they're like, wow, that was so cool, they don't realize it was ripped off from things like An American Werewolf in London. I don't especially enjoy making these videos, but I don't think anybody especially enjoys anything after they turn 40. But I'm doing a service to the youth. Everybody needs to watch this movie, American Werewolf in London. Okay, so American Werewolf, I just did a quick Google search, was directed by John Landis. Okay, I got him confused with John Avildsen. That's the guy that directed Rocky. Came out in 1981. John Landis also made Animal House, The Blues Brothers, Trading Places, Coming to America, and he did the Michael Jackson's Thriller video. And it says here, this movie is especially notable for combining horror and comedy in a groundbreaking way, and for featuring legendary makeup effects by Rick Baker, who won the very first Academy Award for Best Makeup for his work on the film. But now that the Googling is done, I'm just going to share my thoughts. And my initial thought, just to get this out of the way, is that this movie is something of a masterpiece, and as far as movies can be masterpieces, this is like on the level of like Ghostbusters or Back to the Future. This is the Back to the Future of horror movies, in terms of like how perfect it is. I have 11 points to make, and my first point is probably the hardest. The movie opens with these two Americans in London, and they're walking through like the forest, and they stumble upon a pub which has a pentagram on it, and they're like, they go into the pub, and everybody is like looking at them like they're outsiders, like you're not wanted here, you're not welcome here, and they're like, you have to leave right now and stay away, keep on the road, and beware of the full moon. And they basically kick them out. Now that's already cool, because it's like we're already introducing these characters as being outsiders, and they're already in danger. So then they're walking down the road in the middle of the night. It's very dark. It's like very dangerous, obviously. Like if you've ever walked in the woods in the middle of the night, it's just really cool. It's a perfect way to begin a movie called An American Werewolf in London. Oh, by the way, the name of the pub that they tried to go to was called The Slaughtered Lamb, which is a nice little touch. Now, I'm not going to retell the whole story of this movie. I'm just saying that's the first point. I've got 11 points of what's so good about this movie, and that is the first point. You can watch the movie and then come back to here and rewatch my video. The second awesome thing about this movie, and these are by no means in order of priority or importance. The second awesome thing about this movie is the transformation of David into the werewolf. That scene is so completely perfect. You can Google it and you can like YouTube it, and you'll see that you can see the scene. Basically, the radio starts playing the song Bad Moon Rising, which also I'm not sure, like it's the kind of case where like, did that song make the movie better, or did the movie make the song better? But I see the bad moon rising, it's like it perfectly tells the story of what's happening. I see trouble on the way, don't go out tonight, it's bound to take your life, there's a bad moon on the rise. All the lyrics are amazing, and then it just cuts to him like having this fucking huge like transformation, which is utterly painful, and he's screaming and everything. It's so wonderfully juxtaposed. Go on YouTube and And just enter, Bad Moon Rising, Werewolf in London. Actually, I'm going to do that right now, just for a refresher. The third awesome thing about this movie is the porn theater scene. Basically, David, uh, his dead friend, like the ghost of his friend, invites him into a porno theater where he then explains to David, like, while you hear the moanings and the, like, the comings of you can hear the porn. He's in a porn theater. And David's friend says, like, and he's like a skeleton at this point, and he's like, you know how many people you've killed, David? You're a werewolf. You need to off yourself. And he's like, let me introduce you to all the people that you've killed. And all the people that he's killed are all sitting in the theater, and they're looking at him, and they're all bloodied and mangled. And it's like very comedic. And my point, though, is that this has been copied. Like, you'll watch a horror movie like Terrifier 3, I think, where, her dead friend shows up as like a ghost and just like talks to her and says, like, look what happened to me. Like, give me a break. This is ridiculous. I hate being dead. Like, it's very comedic, but you've seen it in lots of horror movies, but this was the first time that I know of where this happened. Yeah, point 4 was just that the dead friend ghost thing has been copied a million times, so we covered that ground. Now, my fifth point is regarding the third act of the movie, where basically he just becomes a complete werewolf and is just like running around downtown London. Well, running, crawling, whatever the fuck a werewolf does. And it's just like a spectacle. And it's just like, I don't think that's ever been done before either. Where you've just got like, okay, I'm a werewolf. The dude's a werewolf, and he's just right out in the middle of like London, or it might as well be New York City. But the fact is that it's just like in public. It's on the news. Everybody's looking at it. It's not as, like, it's not as, like other movies, the last act with the horror character, they're just, in a cabin somewhere, like in a forest. No, this is like Friday the 13th part, I think 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. It's just like bluntly, like right out in front of everybody. My next point is that in a way this movie is like Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka, which is a very short story which you should look into, where a guy wakes up one day and he's an insect. He's a cockroach. He wakes up and he's a cockroach. And that's kind of like what this story is. It's like, it's just waking up one day and finding out you're a monster. And there's not necessarily any moral or like, there's no comment on it. Like, it's just like, this is your situation. Like, you suck, buddy. Sorry. My next point is that it's a first person account of being a werewolf. You experience it all through him. I believe that was copied in the Jack Nicholson movie Wolf. And maybe that's the only way to do a werewolf movie, is to have it be first person. Like, look, what the hell am I going through? There was this dude, I think he was Canadian, named Northrop Frye, who was an art critic, and he said that there's 4 different types of movies, and he classified them as anatomy, confession, novel, and romance. But he said a confession is told through the first person in terms of literature. So it's just like about one person's battle. It's not about like, the whole story is just like first person. He calls it a confession because often it's like somebody writing in their diary about their life. And so this movie is, in that way, this is a confession. Now, another amazing, revolutionary, amazing thing about this movie is that, did I say amazing twice? Is that it's a comedy masquerading as a horror in some ways. Like, so much of this is just a comedy. A dark comedy, obviously, I guess, since it's a horror movie. But I mean, it's just like blatantly comedic. So, I mean, you might watch this movie even if you don't like horror movies, just for the comedy of it, albeit dark. Next point, Aristotle said that something is either a comedy or a tragedy. But this movie is both. It's a tragedy. Like, nothing good happens to this dude. Like, this is just the story of a guy. Wrong place, wrong time, and everything goes to hell. But yet it's hilarious as hell. Okay, 2 more points, bear with me. The next point is... Sorry, I just gotta look at this thing. It has a perfect 3-act structure. Like, in many ways, it's like a perfectly written screenplay. Or movie. Like, where the first act ends exactly where it's supposed to. Second act ends exactly where it's supposed to. Third act does exactly what it's supposed to do. And I can't think of a lot of movies that have done that. Ghostbusters is perfect in that way. So is Back to the Future. I'm more of a movie fan than a movie critic, so I haven't really analyzed. I'm sure there's plenty of movies that have perfect 3-act structures, but this is one of the ones from the 80s that comes to mind. My final point is that it's also a love story, because he falls in love with this girl that like lets him stay at her house. And so main point being that this movie has everything. It's a love story, it's a horror, it's a comedy, it's a confession, it's introspective. Like, this is just a movie that has everything. And it has it has music, like music being used, what's the word for that? I think it's called diegetic, but it's not actually diegetic, because it does, look it up. But this movie has everything. It has absolutely everything, and it's an experience, and can't say enough things about it. So now, I want you to not subscribe, and I want you to know that I hate you. And actually, when I started this video by saying Happy Thursday, I meant Horrible Thursday. And if it's not Thursday, pretend that it's a horrible Thursday. Thank you.